everybody. I hope everybody's doing really well on this Sunday. I apologize for my look. I just dropped off my son at his grandmother's. He's gonna stay over there for a couple days, and it's Sunday. I don't feel like doing makeup or hair. So you get what you get, right? Get what you get and you don't have a fit. Anyway, part of, not caring about how I look goes hand in hand with what I wanted to say today. So I'm driving, and my drives, we live in Wilson, so anywhere we go, we have a good 25 minutes or so drive. And when I'm driving, I do a lot of thinking. So I thought I would just jump on real quick, about a 5-minute conversation with you, and please feel free to drop a comment on if you agree or disagree with what I'm saying. But I was thinking about who I am, right? And who I have been in the past. And I was an incredibly shy, terrified child. I had high anxiety in school. I just was quiet. I was maybe considered a wallflower. Unless you really knew me, did you really see a side to me, like who I was? I protected myself a lot. I was made fun of a lot. I was teased and picked on, not super popular, kind of like a misfit. Even in my family, I love my family to death, but even in my family, I kind of always felt like the odd person out. I just saw things differently. I didn't enjoy, like I posted the other day about eating meat, right? I hated meat as a kid, and everybody in my family was a meat eater. So it's just like I felt different. I was probably a little too sensitive growing up, wore my heart on my sleeve, very, very much into, just very much loved animals, had imaginary friends. I felt like I thought very differently than my family and my friends. So, and I still sort of feel that way today, but not as much, and not in a special way, not like, oh, I'm special, I'm different. No, just, I don't know how to explain it, just odd. Odd. So anyway, I spent I had a great childhood, don't get me wrong, I love my childhood. I had wonderful close friends, I really did. But I wasn't super outgoing or anything like that. So for many years, I just never felt, my whole life, I never felt good enough. I was never pretty enough. I was never talented enough. That's how I felt. I was never smart enough. I literally grew up thinking, like, I'm going to get married and have kids and be a housewife, and there's nothing wrong with that, and I enjoyed that time that I did do that. But it wasn't that I chose that, it was that I felt that was all I had, all I could do. I didn't really have desire for college. I didn't think I was smart enough to go to college, or talented enough to go to art school. So there were a lot of things. Now, going through those years, as I started to get older, how do I explain it? I started to feel inside like maybe I could be good enough, but I didn't know how to get there. So I'm not a big frou-frou vision board, need a motivational life coach person. But I did, once I started my business, the art business, that was a huge thing for me. And I think that was my turning point, because for once, I felt like maybe I could be talented enough to do this art thing and actually make a career out of it. And for years, I never believed that. And I had a lot of artists around me, and I think that helped build me up as well. I also had a lot of artists around me that would say things like, well, if you're going to do this for a career, in this area, you don't expect too much. They were just trying to protect me. Don't expect to make a lot of money. Don't, starving artists, which I had heard my whole life. So that was nothing new. But I thought, you know what if that wasn't the case? What if I could be talented enough to make a go of this and actually make some money at it? So I hired my first coach, Alyssa Dillon, and it was funny because when we talked, I was even like, look, I've been at corporate jobs where we've had coaches and I didn't like them. They were fake, they weren't genuine. So I don't want you to like pump me up if you really think like in your bones that I don't have what it takes. Like, just be honest, because I don't want to go, I don't want you to like spend, I don't want to spend all this money when you don't even believe in me. So she's like, oh my God, no. So it worked out really well. But I still wasn't at that point where I was like, I'm not doing a vision board. I'm not going to do these things. There were certain things I wasn't going to do, right? I was just like, yeah. That just is like, put it out in the universe and it will come back to you. I'm just not that person. I'm a little more grounded, I think. As imaginative and strange as I can be, that was really out there for me. Long story short, as I've gone these last couple of years, I realize how important that stuff actually is. And the more I'm digging into it, the more I see by actual tangible results that there is something to that. There is something to putting it out there and it will come back to you. And the biggest thing I've noticed this last year was I make excuses for myself, right? I'm in my own way constantly. I am the reason why I have failed in the past at things or have felt like I couldn't make a go of something. It's my own self. So I've really worked on, especially the last 6 months, like my own self-talk, doing things that in the past terrified me. Something as simple as the print subscription that I recently have launched and have talked a lot about. Something as simple as that, putting that out there, and 2 years ago would have terrified me for a couple of reasons. One, what if nobody signs up? That would have been a fear of mine. Oh my gosh, I'll be a failure. What if I put this out there and nobody signs up? So I wouldn't do it. The other thing is, what if I can't create this? I have this vision of what I'm doing. What if I can't create that and it fails, right? So I wouldn't put it out there. And this is recent. Like I said, this is just 2 years ago. I've been thinking about this art subscription thing for 2 years. So I'll do a lot of reading on things. I get a lot of information. I'm very educated that way, but I have this fear, this crippling fear that would always stop me from actually doing. So I would get in my way, and that's the second thing was I would get a lot of information and stuff and do a lot of reading and prep work, but I wasn't taking action because of the fear, right? So I've recently kind of just said, you know what, who cares? Who cares if nobody signs up? So, doesn't matter. Create the art anyway. Who cares if you go to start to create your first piece and you can't, it's not what you envisioned. Do it again. So what? You know, I've reached out to a couple of news stations this last year to do some features on me. Never would have happened in the past. No way. No. I would have thought, oh my gosh, who cares about me? Who wants to see or hear what I'm doing? What I've realized though is that there are people out there that do want to see it and do want to hear about it. Just like I want to see and hear about their worlds and their life. I find that inspiring, so why can't I be inspiring? Right? So I've just been really working on how I talk to myself and asking myself questions. So taking it as far as like, okay, you want to do this art, and I have had art subscribers to my art print. So had I not done it, that would have been an opportunity I didn't explore. I would have just sat there on it and never did anything with it, and I wouldn't have this great, exciting, fun thing to do with the people who really want to do it with me. So I would have lost out on that, and I realize now that that's something I have to keep in check. So, you know, I walk myself through it now, like, okay, what if you do this? What is the worst that's going to happen? And I'll take myself through that scenario, and then I say, what if you do this? What's the best that's going to happen? And then I take myself through that scenario. That's the scenario I want to live in. That's the world that I want to feed, right? So that's all I got. I was thinking about it on my way home, and I wanted to share it with you, and I didn't know if anybody else lives that way. Like, how many excuses do you make for yourself in a day, right? It could be something as simple as like food. Okay, I struggle with food. I've put on some weight since COVID, so I hate dieting. I actually hate exercise, but I know that both are good for me. So I want to be healthy. It's not so much that I want to be thin and skinny. I want to be healthy and I want to feel good. So since I've been doing this new, like, really thinking about how I'm internalizing things and what I'm actually saying to myself and asking myself questions like, what if I did do this way instead of that way? What if it turned out really well? I have actually lost 5 pounds. I am not dieting. I do walk every day. I hold myself accountable. I stopped lying to myself. I stopped giving myself excuses as to why I can't walk. Are you kidding me? It's all an hour of my day. And in the past, I would have said things like, oh, I'm just really tired. I'll walk tomorrow. I don't that. And I've said to myself, there is this podcast I listen to, Elizabeth Benton. I really enjoy it. It's called Primal Potential. She just recently had another guest on her show, and I don't remember his name, so I apologize. But one of the things he says is, most won't, I will. And I've been saying that to myself a lot. So when I'm making those excuses and feeling tired, I say, most won't, but I will. So you know what? Yeah, you're tired, but you know how great you're gonna feel after you take that walk? And I do it. Same with meditating. I've brought meditating back into my practice. I love it. So I am doing these small steps that aren't difficult at all. It's just it's reminding myself to not make those excuses, to stop lying to myself that I don't have time, that all these things are really aren't. A walk, it's not difficult. Put your damn sneakers on, put your damn coat on, get your headphones, and get your butt out there, right? This is what I have to tell myself. Like, don't be ridiculous. It's not hard. That's not difficult. You know, if I want to eat something instead of going through fast food, because fast food's easy, right? And I'm so busy, which I don't really say to myself anymore. Now I'm like, I'm not that busy. I have a lot of really good things on my plate that are happening, but I'm not necessarily busy. Instead of like going through fast food, it's not hard to make yourself some steamed veggies and some, you know, pasta and put a little butter on it and some salt and pepper, and it's amazing. It's not the best choice, but it's a good choice. So I've been really good about that stuff, and I just wanted to share. I'm curious if you guys have anything like that. How do you handle that? How do you handle your excuses? Do you realize you're doing it? Because for a long time, I didn't even realize I was doing it. Like, let's go back to the print subscription. I would have like said that 2 years ago, and my initial reaction was, don't be silly, nobody's gonna buy your art, you can't do that. Well, I don't say that anymore. I don't believe that in myself anymore. So it's changing how I'm talking to myself and wondering, like, exploring what actually is good out there and what can happen and all the positivity. All right, I rambled. Sorry, it's longer than 5 minutes. I just get very passionate and excited about this stuff. Have a fantastic Sunday, and I will talk to you later. Bye-bye.